Hello, everybody. This is Jennifer from Jen and Then Some. I am so excited. I'm on my way to do a rod set on natural hair, and I just wanted to show you. This is a flexi rod, and one of the little skinny ones, small one. And then this is a peach rod. And I don't think we're gonna do any orange. We're gonna stick with the smaller ones. This is the next size up. Might kind of mix these two, but I wanted to focus on the flexi rods around the perimeter because it kind of creates that tighter curl. We'll go in, we will hydrate the hair with water, not super soaking it, but just to give it a little bit of moisture. And we're going to use Nairobi foam wrap, and then also just a little bit of gel, and that will be the same thing as using like a set motion. And one thing I wanted to demonstrate real quick was, since I did trim her ends, to trim natural hair when it's in its wet state. So you're gonna comb it up and over, making sure it's laying down on your hands, and then over your fingers, and then just clip the very end. So when the hair is, of course, in its dry state, it will be easier to trim. But because we're doing a rod set, we're not gonna dry her hair, trim it, then re-wet it. We're not gonna do all those steps. Nairobi foam wrap, it is like the number one foam wrap of all time. It lays the hair down, and it gives you a soft set. And then we're gonna start from the back rod with the flexi rod. I'm just gonna apply a little bit of gel going up, just to kind of smooth the edges a little bit. And then we're gonna go ahead and proceed. So you pull the hair up, and then we're gonna use the end, and you're gonna probably wrap it maybe 2 or 3 times over each other so that the ends are covered, and making sure if the hair doesn't lay down, you can either apply a little bit of foam, just one little pump or half a pump, or you take the end of your rat tail comb and dip it in the gel, and then just kind of smooth it over the ends. But her hair is laying down on it really nicely. And so we're gonna go inward. See, I just wrapped it around there one time, and I do 2, 3, and then I start turning it. Sometimes you have to kind of work that roller back and forth. I normally kind of go back as I go in, and then I might go back, but I kind of go back and forth until I get it down. So by you pulling that tension a little bit, the roots will be made smoother. That's how you can get that relaxed look when you are riding natural hair. Even if you don't see any more foam in the hair, the product is on there, believe me. And I like the rods better because the roots are a lot smoother versus the rollers, because sometimes with the rollers you can have a little wave, but there's an advantage to having a wave, because especially if your hair is thinner and you want the fullness, it's good to have that wave at the roots, because it can allow the style to appear fuller. You can go ahead and put some foam wrap around the edges just to kind of prepare it to lay down. Okay, for the edges, you just kind of smooth a little bit of gel. See how the hair is laying down? It's laying down really nicely for you. And then you're gonna take it, once you kind of smooth the edges down, then you're gonna take your rod. And it's almost like a two-part once you get around the edges. So once you have the ends secure around the rod, you're gonna still go do the back and forth method. Back and forth, back and forth. And then when you get around the edges, sometimes I like to comb it on or kind of smooth it on with the end. Or you can use your finger and pull the hair around the edges, around the rod, so that it can smooth. And then where you're gonna clip it. And you can kind of play with the edges, like the little baby hair. I like to define it a little bit with the Eco Styling Gel. So this will set, however you mold it in place, that's how it's gonna set. So however you want. I like to bring the hair forward and then kind of go backwards. We'll be sitting under dryer maybe like 45 minutes. It shouldn't take long. And I am gonna spray it with a shaping hose spray to kind of set the style in. All right, you guys, we are back and the hair has dried. So we're taking the rods out now. So we rotted it inward. So now we're gonna do it in the opposite direction. Take it out. As you see, curls are nice and bouncy. So before you take the rods out, after the hair has been dried with the rods in it, you want to kind of let it cool for just maybe 1 or 2 minutes before you take them out. And so I'm gonna go ahead and spray with some shaping hose. It's already kind of firm there. It's not hard, but it's firm. And then I'm gonna go ahead with the sheer shine. See that nice shine on the hair? It looks like you just got a fresh relaxer. So it's awesome. But think about it, once it gets old, the style gets old, it's gonna start to swell at the roots, and also it's gonna start looking natural. It'll start coming back to her natural texture, which is kind of wavy, curly. So I'm just starting up here just to kind of give you an example. Kind of divide it in half and just roll it around. And you can start from the bottom. But I'm just going through, I'm really kind of dividing it in two, and then I can go and break it up maybe one more time. And all this is doing is just kind of creating the fullness, and it's also allowing us to hide the parts. There's not many parts because of the way I parted it, because usually I like to do a zigzag part as I'm rodding the hair, so there are less parts. And you also can kind of pull it together with the the end of the rat tail comb as well. It is looking really good. It's looking hydrated, moisturized, has a nice shine, and it has a little bounce to it. Or you can kind of pin it up, pin it to the side. You can do multiple styles once the curls go old. And then you can start, because after probably about 5 days, it's going to start to dry out, and so you have to kind of rehydrate it. how I'm doing this. And just going through every section, every piece. You see how it just falls back into place. See all that body? Sometimes you wake up in the morning and it might be mashed like that, and you be like, what in the world? So what you do, I mean, all you gotta do is just finger it. You don't have to comb it. Just finger it back into place, and it'll fall back into place. All right, we are done. It's looking so nice, and the edges are still laid down, moisturized. And all you can do, like, to maintain your edges if it starts to raise up, just apply a little bit more either gel or like some edge definer on there, and it will lay right back down. And you also can use hair pins if you like, and that is just to kind of hold the style, kind of create that volume, more volume. Sometimes I would bring the hair up and kind of stick a pin in there just to create a little volume, but it actually, the older it gets, it creates that volume on its own. So if you want it kind of change the first few days, at least the first week, and then the second week you can start adding more of your moisture products, like your moisturizers, even your hydration sprays, leave-in conditioner sprays, things that are more wet, and it's going to make your hair is already in a curl style, so it will hydrate your curl. It'll make your curls pop naturally. And so that's what I like about the rod sets, because it creates that relaxed look in the beginning, and then the end of the style, it will allow you to have a natural curl look. So with your own whatever texture you have. So I just kind of take in my hands, I just pull them apart, and I will put, like, I'm using Nairobi Recovery with Neuroplex. And I'm just using that as, I can use something else, but I just use that as a, something for just to moisturize the end so it's not frizzy. So, main thing when you're doing a strand, you just kind of go down the strand making sure it's moisturized, as you see. So that's pretty much the finished look. You can just, it's a versatile style. And then you can, if it gets older, you can kind of pin it up like a mohawk. You can have curls in the middle, you can pin it up in the back, or pin it over to the side. There's so many things you can do. So, and if you still have parts, you can just kind of take your rat tail comb and just kind of pull it all together. Your fingers. So one final spray, and we will view. I kind of let that sit about 5 seconds, and then do my shear sign. You don't have to be directly on the hair, just kind of maybe a few steps back. And so you want to shake it? You see that body? So unreal. This is the finished view. Spiral rod set on natural hair. Sorry it looks relaxed, but it's all good. Nice and shiny. Has so much body.